Hi guys, welcome to another day of Read Aloud. Today we're going to be reading chapter 7 in Julian's Glorious Summer. So we've been reading a lot about Julian and we've been learning so much about him and the challenges that he's been facing. And his problem actually has gotten a lot worse over time, now hasn't it? In addition, let's go back to what we learned in chapter 6 to help us understand maybe chapter 7 a little bit better. So in chapter 6, it was the beginning of happiness, right? And that's the chapter where he decided to tell his mom the whole truth. But he only told her because he started to feel comfortable in telling his mom his feelings. And he felt shocked that she didn't judge him or had a bad opinion that he didn't like bikes, right? So he felt a lot better after confessing all his feelings about why not like he doesn't like bikes. So in chapter 7, I'm wondering if this chapter will be about maybe him getting a reward for not being a fibber and eventually telling the truth. I'm not sure, but we're going to read to find out. Before I read, we always discuss vocabulary words that we come across. So let's take a look. Foundation. Foundation is the bottom part of a building. So the foundation of a building helps the building to stay up nice and sturdy. Demanded means to ask forcefully. So you want something, you say it, and you say it now. Pennant means a flag. It's like a flag, usually like a triangle shape. And then stunned is like a feeling. You're shocked. When you're stunned, you're shocked. All right, let's start reading. And as I read, keep those vocabulary words in the back of your mind so you can help you to keep track of the story. Got it? Good. Here we go. I get my just reward. I did a lot of work in the next 3 weeks. I cut the lawn and the edges of the grass next to the house. I swept the garage and washed the garage floor. I washed my dad's truck inside and out. I washed all the downstairs windows of the house. I scraped old paint off the house when my dad plans to repaint. Sometimes Gloria and Huey helped me quite a bit, but other times it was bad. It was bad when Gloria came down the street on her bike. We already know how he feels about Gloria and her bike, right? So let's see. Ringing her bell or riding one-handed. It was worse when she learned how to ride with no hands. Worst of all were the times when she came by riding Huey on her back fender. Seems like Julian's a little jealous. And he's not liking what he sees, right? So here I jotted based on the following question. Why didn't Julian like when Gloria rode on her bike? So Julian did not like when Gloria rode on her bike because it looked like she was having so much fun and Julian was working extra hard. I want you to think, how is Julian feeling right now? Is he feeling jealous? I agree that he's feeling jealous because he's like, man, I'm working this hard. I did so much work, but everybody else is having fun except me. But whose fault is it? Is it his fault or their fault? His fault because he kept fibbing, which is his big problem. Let's keep reading. One good thing was that Huey left the sharp rocks on my shelf and didn't put them back under my mattress, even though I wouldn't have known if he'd been sleeping on the tip-toppiest point of Mount Everest. When I got up on Saturday at the end of the 3rd week, Huey was still sleeping. My mom was shopping, but my dad was still in the kitchen eating breakfast. Good morning, Julian, he said very cheerily. How are you? Alive, I said. Excellent, my dad said. What could be better? I thought it would be better if I were a little more alive than I was, but I didn't say anything. I just sat down at the table. My dad pushed milk and sugar and toast and jam and oranges and cornflakes towards me. Better eat a big breakfast, Julian, he said. You have a big day in front of you. So I decided to jot here. Julian is becoming overwhelmed by all the hard work he has to do. Because all he keeps thinking about is what's next, how much more do I have to work? But he's the one that got himself in this big commotion, right? Let's keep reading. As soon as he said that, all the food on the table looked like a new job. I hardly ate anything. Pretty soon I got up from the table. So, my father said, "Are you ready for a tough day?" "I'm ready," I said. "First of all," my dad said, "I hope you're feeling good enough to take on some bad news." In Julian's mind, he's probably like, "Oh no, what now?" "I suppose so," I said. "I thought that after all I had been through, I could take anything." "Well," my dad said, "this is actually very bad news. I think you should sit down before I tell you, so you don't fall down." "Okay," I said. I sat down. I still thought I could take anything, but I was afraid he was going to tell me he wanted the entire house rebuilt from the foundation. "The bad news is," my father paused. He started over. "The horrible news is," my dad seemed afraid to say it. "The dreadful news is," he coughed. "Tell me." "Well, the very, very bad news is," my father was almost whispering, "there was no more." Uh-oh. Now I want you to think, what other bad news could Julian's father possibly be wanting to tell him now? What do you think? Take some time to think about that. What other bad news could Julian's father would have to tell him now? I think Julian has had enough and he doesn't really want to hear anything bad now. But what do you think? Think about it. Take some time to think. All right. So I'm thinking that possibly he could be telling his dad his dad could be telling him, guess what? You have to work longer hours and even on the weekends. Now that would be worse, right? But I'm not sure. Let's keep reading. "Well, the very, very bad news is," my father almost was whispering, "there are no more jobs. Oh, maybe a few next month and some next summer, but no more for now. I hope you can stand it." "I can stand it," I said. I was ready to head over to the door. "Wait a minute," my father said. "Today is payday." He handed me a brown paper bag from the kitchen counter. I opened it. Inside was $10 and a book on race cars and lots of pictures and facts about engines and records and high-speed performance. "Thank you," I said. "Just one other thing," my dad said. "Would you mind picking up something in the living room?" "Glad to," I said. I went to the living room. "Oh no," I said. Parked next to the couch was a brand new bicycle just like Gloria's, except that it was a boy's bike. Red with white stripes, and behind the seat on a stick it had a red pennant with my name on it. Julian in big white letters. "It's a surprise," my dad said. "I didn't even tell your mother I was getting it for you." Uh-oh. How do you think Julian is feeling now? At first he was so excited to know that he doesn't have any more work, but then Dad brings this other surprise he thought that he would like for him. And Julian doesn't look too happy about it, right? Yeah. What was Julian's reaction? So I jotted here. Julian's not too excited about receiving a bicycle as a reward for his hard work. Right? He's not too excited because does he really want a bicycle? Nope, because we know he's very terrified of bicycles and falling down from riding on a bicycle. But I wonder if he'll overcome this big fear that he's holding on inside. Let's keep reading. My dad smiled. "You know, I don't like it when you make up stories. But after a while, I thought the reason that you said you wanted so many jobs was because you didn't want to be around someone with a bicycle." So his dad was thinking, hey, Gloria has a bicycle and you don't. So you try to make an excuse not to hang out with Gloria because you don't have a bicycle for yourself. You were afraid you couldn't have your own bicycle. Well, now you have one. So that's why his dad actually bought him a bicycle. Of course, if what you really want to do is save money for a race car, you can take it back to the store. I don't know, I said. I don't know what I really want. I had worked so hard to keep bicycles out of my life. What did I get for it? A bicycle. I was stunned. I needed to talk to somebody. I needed advice. Should I teach you how to ride it? My dad asked. No thanks, I said. First, I want to show it to Gloria. Very interesting, right? He gets this bike and he's not too excited. Dad is even more excited about giving him this bike. But then, when his dad asks him, hey, do you want me to show you how to ride this bike? He says no, and he'd rather go show it to Gloria. I'm wondering what's his motive. What is his intention? What is his plan? Why is he wanting to go to show Gloria this bicycle that he gets? And how will that make his problem better and not worse? So I decided to jot here. I asked the question, why does Julian's dad buy him the bike? And I jotted, Julian's dad buys him the bicycle because his dad thought that Julian wanted a bicycle because he didn't want to be around someone else who does have a bicycle and feel left out. But in actuality, that's not what Julian truly feels on the inside, right? Julian is actually terrified of bicycles, and he tried his best to get far away from bicycles. That's why he tried to persuade his dad to give him a job to do. But it actually turned out worse than what he really wanted, right? Now I want you to think, what do you think is going to happen in the next chapter? And I'm going to show you what the next chapter title is. Because this could even get better or it could actually get worse. I'm not sure. Chapter 8, I take off. Uh-oh. And I know like when you get a new bicycle and you learn how to ride it, you automatically take off and you're out. But maybe this might be better than how it started in the beginning, right? Maybe him and Gloria might get together and Gloria might end up teaching him how to ride a bicycle and they have fun for the rest of the summer. What do you think? I'm also thinking that Julian might end up learning a lesson. Not only a small lesson, but a big lesson after all of this. So I want you to think about this. What do you think Julian's intention is to show Gloria his new bike? How do you think Julian's reaction will be when Gloria sees that he has this new bike? And how do you think Gloria's reaction would be when Julian comes to her with his new bike? Stay tuned. Think about these questions because the last chapter in the story is coming up. See you soon. Bye.